Welcome to episode 3 of the Espresso Essential series. Today we are going to be talking about how to dial in coffee. So coffee comes in kind of 3 different parts, and it comes in terms of extracted, over-extracted, and under-extracted. So under-extracted means that the coffee was not pulled long enough, so the shot was too short in time. Coffee is developed in kind of 3 ways in the extraction process. So if it comes out soon, well, the first things to extract in the coffee is the fats and the acids. This contributes to the sour, acidic taste of coffee. So if your shots are tasting too sour and too acidic, that means your coffee is pulled too short. The next thing that comes out of coffee is the sweet area. The sugars become extracted, and that is the spot that we're aiming for. And lastly, if the shot pulls too long, it begins to unleash the plant fibers of it, which will come out more bitter and more thin. So you're kind of aiming at a short shot, it will become sour, oily, and maybe a little acidic at the spot that you want to be. While pulling a shot of espresso comes the sweet and syrupy side of things, and then finally, if it's pulled too long, it's a bitter and thin shot. So that's kind of where we're at in the coffee setting. You kind of want to aim for pulling a shot around 25 to 30 seconds if you're using a standard 58 millimeter portafilter. If you're using something like the flare, you might want to go a little bit longer or something like that. So we're going to start with dialing a brand new coffee in that I have not used with this grinder in this setup before. I have tasted the coffee before. This is an Ethiopian coffee from Archetype Coffee. It was roasted 9 days ago. We grind it first off on setting 5 on the Turin SD40. So we're going to go ahead and pull a shot with this, and one of the things that you're going to need is I weighed out 18 grams of beans, and you want to aim for twice as much out in the cup. So you want twice as much liquid in the cup as you did grounds in the portafilter. So if I ground 18 grams of coffee, I'm looking to get 36 grams out in about 25 seconds. So I got a cup here. This is the Husky cup, and I'm going to put it on my scale. A scale is essential for this. This scale has a built-in timer, which means I'll know whether or not we're going to be in the right zone on things. If your scale does not have a timer, I recommend getting a stopwatch with you. Use your phone, use your watch, however it works for you, and time it from the first time you see a drop. Now this is controversial, this is just getting you started, so aim to see, once you see that first drop, aim to start your timer, and you're going to stop it as soon as it hits 36 grams out. So we're going to go ahead and brew and see what that looks like. Alright, so this is a perfect example right off the bat here. So currently, my first drop started the timer, and I'm at 12 seconds right now, and I'm only at 4 grams out right now. So this is going to be way longer than the traditional shot and toward what you'd hope it would be. Now, if you're wondering how to prep your coffee puck, I recommend checking out episode 2 of this Espresso Essential series, and that will kind of help you choose what you need to do for that. So we're still going here. I'm waiting, and we're going to pull the full shot at 36 seconds. Sorry, 36 grams. All right, and I stopped it just at 36 grams, and it took 46 seconds. This next part will come with time, and it will help you understand your coffee more. So you're going to go ahead and remove your portafilter there, and I recommend using a little knock box here, and that kind of helps you get your cup out. You don't need it. You can use a trash can or anything like that. I also have a pitcher rinser here that kind of helps me clean it off a little bit more. And I have this specifically because I use a YouTube channel and I brew a lot of coffee. It is completely overkill and you don't need one, but I do enjoy having it. And then you're going to just flush your group head afterwards in order to get rid of all that excess coffee grounds that's stuck in the group head. All right, so now that I have my first shot coming in at 36 grams in 46 seconds, I'm going to taste it, and if my assumption is correct beforehand, this will taste bitter and a little thin because it lasted a little bit longer and it took too long as I brewed the shot. So it should be over-extracted, coming toward the more bitter side of things. And I was right, it is bitter. So we're just going to go ahead and, at the beginning, I'd recommend continuing to drink your shot so you can understand and develop your palate of what tastes good and what's not. That comes with over time, but because this is a YouTube video, I'm not going to taste all these shots because I don't want to be overhydrated. Because it took way too long and it took an extra 15 seconds, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my grind setting coarser. This allows the grinds to be a little bit bigger in size, which will allow the water to flow through it more quicker. So because it goes slow, you need to increase your grind size, and you should go up by a number on your grinder. So I was currently at 5 on my SD40, and I'm gonna go up to probably 2 clicks, which will put me at about 6.5. And we are gonna do the same thing and pull another shot and see the time there and see if we're getting a little bit closer in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and regroup and redo all of this, and we are gonna pull the shot together here in just a moment. All right, so we are regrouped here. The shot is ready to be pulled, but before, I do wanna make a moment to remember to do things as consistently as possible. So make sure you use the WDT method or Weiss distribution technique, which is the stirring of your ground, and aim to tamp consistent pressure. It doesn't need to be heavily force. You don't need to put your whole body weight into it, but make sure it's as consistent and as level as possible, so when it comes to pulling of the shot, no factor changes. I'm going to keep the 18 grams in, I'm going to keep the 36 grams out, and let's go ahead and pull the shot here, and we'll see how this works with the time frame. So again, we're aiming for the 25 seconds to 30 second range, and we're at 46 last time, so I moved up 2 grind clicks on my grinder. This got me a lot closer. I was at 33 seconds for the 36 grams out, which is right closer to where I want to be. Before we taste this shot, I want to take a brief moment to thank today's sponsor for the Espresso Essentials series. The sponsor is Espresso Outlet. Espresso Outlet has a lot of different things on their website to help you brew espresso at home, between unique grinders that aren't available anywhere else in the US, like the SD40, that are at affordable prices for great entry-level things, but also compete well with grinders that are 3 times the price of these grinders. They also sell machines, pitcher rinsers. A lot of the things that you will see here outside of the machine are available on Espresso Outlet's website. So check them out in the link below to purchase any equipment, and thank you guys so much for sponsoring this series. It's been a joy working with you so far in this YouTube journey. So let's go ahead and test this again, and my guess is this shot should be a little bit better, and it should be a little less bitter, but we're still going to be slightly away from the sweet and syrupy side of things that we are aiming for. That's a lot of words, sweet and syrupy side of, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to test this. So it's still a little bitter, but it's not bad. So I think what we need to do now is, after I reset all of this, we simply just need to take this grind setting and we need to up it 1 more notch. And that's going to bring us from the 5, an even 5, to just shy of 7 on the dial here. This changes based off of coffee and based off of the age of coffee. So this is just kind of a guideline of where I'm at. So because it was too bitter and because it was taking too long, I needed to grind a little bit coarser. If it was going quick, I would need to fine it up a bit and make the grind particles finer, and I would go lower. It's going too quick or too fast and being below the 25-second mark, you need to grind finer, and you need to go down on the numbers of it. If it's lasting too long, if it's tasting too bitter, you need to make it coarser and go up on the numbers. So hopefully that'll help you a little bit down the road. We are going to reset here, and I will be back in just a moment. All right, we are set up for the 3rd time, hoping that this is going to be exactly where we want it to be. But before we pull that last shot, I just want to say, if you've made it this far, please like and subscribe. That really helps me as a YouTuber. Let's go ahead and get into it, and we will see if we are in the right shot, aiming toward that 25 to 30 seconds. We are pretty close in that last setting there. All right, it looks like we're going pretty well. And usually the shot begins to speed up toward the end as some of the water has made it through the coffee grounds a little bit. So I've noticed if we're starting off at the bat, the time should be pretty close, between like 4 seconds to 4 grams here and there. So that kind of helps, gives me an idea right off the bat. And let's see where we are at here. And we are at 29 seconds is what this came out to be. So we're on the little higher end of that 25 to 36, or 25 to 30 seconds for the 18 grams of coffee in and 36 grams out, that 1-to-2 ratio. So like I said, you're going to want to keep your grind, you're going to want to keep your dose, your 18 grams consistent. You're going to want to keep your stirring of the grounds consistent, and you will also want to keep your temp as level and as consistent as possible. You want to make the variables in your coffee as little as possible. So when you make that one adjustment on the grind setting, that is the only adjustment that you are making. So this is going to be a little bit hot because it just came out of the machine, but that is okay, and we'll go ahead and give it a shot and see if we're on that bitter side, the sweet side, or the acidic side / sour side. And that is exactly where I want to be. I could maybe just go a little bit coarser, but I'm very pleased with this shot, and that is how I dial in espresso at home. There's a lot of other tips and tricks down the road, but I think this will give you a good consistent start to dialing in your espresso. So when you wake up in the morning, you can make the adjustments that you need to make a good shot of espresso that you enjoy and that the people that are around you enjoy, so that you can maybe replace a few times of the week out of going to the cafe and have the enjoyment of having your espresso at home. Thank you so much for watching, and again, thank you so much to Espresso Outlet for sponsoring this series.